Hey YouTube, Renee here again. This time I want to talk to you guys about dry tobacco. Now this is a video that I've been wanting to make for a long time. As you guys know, dry tobacco, and for those of you who are new to pipe smoking, I'm sure that's one of the very first things you've encountered is people talking about how bad dry tobacco is and make sure your tobacco doesn't get dry and all that. Um, well, that's true. I'm not saying that it isn't, but how bad really is it to have your tobacco get completely dry? Well, one of the things that at least when I first started, one of the things that I remember seeing a lot of was people dealing with dry tobacco and rehydrating dry tobacco, which ranged from, people just creating some weird contraptions, and then spending months rehydrating tobacco, uh, I guess gradually, um, to just some people grabbing, spray bottles and just spraying the tobacco instantly, rehydrating it. And that was, perfect for them. At any rate, so, one of the things that I always found with that is that it just seemed like so time consuming, and then everybody talking about how bad it was, and some people just saying, "Oh, my tobacco got dry, so I had to throw it away." Well, one of the things that I found when I when I came across, especially at first when I came across some of my tobacco getting dry, either because I just didn't store it right away, or just dried out because the seal on the cans, especially the square tins, very bad seal on square tins, as you guys know, some of you know very well. Round tins, those are fine, but for some reason the square tins are just can't keep a seal. Um, at any rate, when I've encountered dry tobacco, it was always heartbreaking for me, and I just couldn't throw the tobacco away. So one of the things that I remember doing was I remember smoking it when it was dry, and I didn't really think much of it. It didn't really change the flavor for me. Well, no, I can't say that. That's not true. It did change the flavor. I thought it made it better, but I thought, well, what do I know? I'm barely starting out. I really don't know. That's probably not even true. So what I did this year was I put that to the test. What I did was I kept some tobacco, just about, not all of it, but some of the tobacco that I tried this year. I kept it in their tins. This whole year, I've kept it in their tins. Now, the tobacco in the round tins, that's perfectly fine. It's been what, some between 6 and 8 months that they've been there. And mind you, again, I live in Southern California, so maybe that might have something to do with it. Still, it's been 6 to 8 months, and yeah, everything in the round tins is perfectly fine. Some of it actually still needs to be dried out for me to smoke it. But what I did leave in the square tins, all that dried out, and it's all flake tobacco. But that's what I wanted. I wanted it to get dried out so I could smoke it completely dry, so I could put this to the test. Now, what I found was actually pretty amazing. I'm going to show you some of the blends that are completely dried out now, and then I'm going to show you what it looks like. I'm probably going to smoke one just to show you guys how well it smokes now. So anyway, now for those of you who are probably going to have a heart attack when I show you these blends, I just want you to know that every single one of these blends, some of them I reviewed, some of them I didn't, but every single one of these blends, I mean, in my opinion, to my taste, they're way better now than they were back when I first tried them out. The first one is Sam Gawitt's Fire Dance Flake. You know, flavored with blackberries, brandy, and vanilla. I gotta be honest, I didn't get that much when I first tried it out. Now, one of the things that I get right off the bat is blackberry, some berry-ish flavor. Intense actually. Second one is St. Bruno Flake. Now, this one I didn't even bother doing a review because when I tried it, I really didn't get much of it. You know, there was not much flavor in it. There was nothing for me to review, so I really didn't try anything. I really didn't review anything. Next is, oh, you guys are gonna hate me, Solani Aged Burley Flake. Now, this here is one of those tobaccos that I thought I was gonna love because so many people liked it, but I did not. And no matter how hard I tried, I just couldn't get much of it. I've been smoking this recently. Now that it's completely dry, and I gotta be honest. I mean, this is way better now than it was, before. It kept its strength. It kept its body. Its flavor is still there. Now I can taste it a lot more, and it's a lot more smoother now. A lot more smoother. Great blend now that it's completely dry. Next one is Aaron Moore Flake. This one is one of those flake. God, I wish I could like this flake, but I just don't. It's not my cup of tea. But because normally I really don't get much of it. It's really hard to smoke. You don't get that much flavor, and it burns out very quickly, and you just get that nasty, burnt out taste. But now at least me, I get a lot of fruitiness out of this. A lot of fruity tastes, notes right off the bat too. I mean, I can honestly say, I could smoke Aaron Moore Flake now. Last but not least, Rat Race Malcolm Flake. Now, this and this, I believe, are the same, but this is made by Rat Race. Now, this one actually says pineapple on the bottom, right there. Before, I mean, it wasn't a bad flake, but it's not as good as it is now. Now, I can taste pineapple. I can taste the pineapple in this flake. It's completely dry. So, go figure. Let's smoke Fire Dance Flake. Let me show you guys. Let's grab some of it. And hopefully you guys are going to be able to hear what this sounds like. All I can see is my hands. Can you hear that? Hopefully you can. It is completely dry. And that's what it looks like. Put it in my pipe. Now, it smokes a lot easier because, of course, it burns a lot easier because it's completely dry. There are some drawbacks, I guess. You get a lot more, it tends to shoot out through the mouthpiece into your mouth, a little bit when you first start out. It's not that big of a deal. At least for me, it's not. But it does happen. It can happen. Other than that, that's about it. I mean, it burns way better. It burns a lot cooler, by the way. That's another thing. Now that the sugars have completely dried up and just literally disintegrated off, it doesn't burn that hot, and what you're left with is a lot of the natural sweetness, I think, of the flake. With the, you know, all the I would think that all the artificial sweeteners and all that have, you know, just dried out, and what you're left with is the actual natural sweeteners that they probably use. So now, well, I didn't get any this time, but you can. Usually you do. Wow, unbelievable! Right off the bat, I get a very berry-like taste, almost an aromatic taste from this, which I didn't get before. Now, as aggressively as I just puffed right now on it, normally you would get just a burned out taste. But right now, I just get that fruitiness. Has a bit of a, of course, the tobacco's still there and everything. It's you're tasting tobacco, but it does have that fruitiness, that blackberry fruit taste that stays with you even in the aftertaste. It stays. It's you know wonderful, wonderful tobacco at this point, and it's completely dry as you saw. Yeah, blackberry, and very smooth. The strength is still there. The flavor's still there. It's just it is though a lot smoother now. A lot smoother. I found this to be very harsh, by the way, when I first smoked it. I found that it was really, really harsh. Now it's just a very smooth blend. For as aggressive as I'm puffing like that, it would have burned out completely. This is amazing. And I gotta be honest, guys. You know, all these flakes are completely dried out. Now, I've said it before. I'm not trying to say that you should dry your tobacco out. That's not what I'm trying to say here. All I'm saying is if it does happen, guys, for whatever reason, it's okay if you don't rehydrate it. You can still smoke it. And who knows? If you kind of have the same taste buds as I do, you might even enjoy some flakes a lot more. Now, another thing. Normally, I wouldn't be able to be holding this pipe like this. It would have gone hot instantly. Right now, I can hold it by the bowl with no problem. That's another thing. Wow, incredible. Anyways, compadres, comadres. Well, that's it. That's one of the things that I wanted to talk to you guys about. Just wanted to mention it. In case you deal, you come to you come across this problem, and you look online and you see all these people doing these, different things. And mind you, I'm not saying that those things are bad. They're not. They're probably the right way of doing things. But I don't know if maybe you think that's too hard. Don't worry. You can smoke dry tobacco, and sometimes it might even be better. All right, compadres, comadres. As always, thank you for watching. Bye, con Dios.